is our canvas size right here. Okay, I'm going to tape that down because if I don't, it's going to be flying all over the place. Yeah, we normally do a evening live on this page, but since we're doing our sunflower challenge, I decided to do it earlier. Thank you, Maureen. I decided to do it earlier so that we wouldn't miss out on our weekly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is do a little just sky grass background first. I'm so glad y'all can see me and hear me. That makes me so happy. Okay, so I'm going to grab a little paint tray and we're going to use a couple of colors of paint. And obviously we're going to use some white. Look at you, Gina. You're so funny. We're going to use some white. I'm going to use some shoreline, which is just kind of a sky blue, really nice, springy sky blue. And we're just going to make a very abstract background, right? And a little bit of grass. This is Hauser light green. And let me get a bigger brush. Let me see. That's the same size. And I'm going to just create a very loosey-goosey background, okay? Need some water. Try not to get my tracer wet. And let's just create a little background for our flowers. I'm going to start with a larger brush, and I'm going to start with white. And I'm just going to get the white on my background in a loosey-goosey way as well. We're not trying to create anything spectacular yet. So we're just going to get that white on. And what the white does is enables us to blend our next color and make it look kind of 3D. All right. So I'm going to get that on. This canvas is super textured. This is a Dick Blick canvas, so I'm not sure. My favorite brand is the Americana. I use it a lot. I do like folk art as well, but I tend to lean more towards the Deco Art brand, Americana. I think it's the colors. I just like their colors better. And the paint itself, the opacity of the paint, I feel like is better. Now that new Hobby Lobby brand is awful. Sorry, Hobby Lobby. You know I love y'all. Y'all get a lot of my dollars, but that brand that they have is absolutely the worst. Love you, mean it, but do better. Do better for us crafters and artists. All right, so we got 100% covered with white. So the first thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to offload some of that white. I'm going to go in and I'm just going to get a little bit of that blue on my brush, and I am literally just going to make X's. You can make O's if you want to, but I like the X's, and I'm just going to swish, swish back and forth and make some highs and lows with that blue. So when you make X's, you're creating a little bit of dimension because I'm not like just covering the white back with the blue. So you're able to see some darker spots, some lighter areas without seeing a lot of brush strokes. We're going to go almost all the way down. I'm going to leave about an inch, a little more than that maybe. So by making those X's, and you could totally just put it on and like bag it off with some sort of a bag, or use your little round spongy brush. But I like to just do it like this. It's easier for me, but you can see that it kind of has those highs and lows, and it's not just one solid color of blue. All right, so I'm going to rinse that off, and while that white paint is still dry on the very bottom, I'm going to go in to my green, and I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to bring some of that up about a third of the way into my blue. So it's kind of intermixing. All right, so make some X's, bring it up into your blue. So it's kind of like you can see the sky through the grass. All right, we'll bring it up about a third of the way. Now I'm going to do something a little crazy. Maybe. We'll see how it works out. Wanted to add a little bit of pink. I brought some pink to this party. Let me see if I can pull this down. Brought a little pink to the party. So let's see if we can add a little pink. So I am going to get a little more white on my brush. I rinsed it out really nicely. And I am going to add a little bit more white and maybe just kind of in the center. I'm going to make it a little bit lighter. Then I'm going to wipe that off and I'm going to use the tiniest bit of pink. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of poodle skirt pink. Y'all know that's my favorite of the pale pinks. And I'm just going to add a little bit of pink above the grass, just enough that it's going to kind of blend in and help with the background and kind of a reflection for the flowers we're going to add. All right, it's just a little bit of that background color right over that blue. All right, that's our background. Check it out. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now I do see a little something. We don't want you in there. You're not invited to this party. All right, so now I'm going to use my heat gun for the sake of time. If you're new, I like to just get this dry so that we can move on and not have to, you know, fiddle fart and wait for it to dry on its own. So we're going to get it dry. I'm going to take a sip of my tea while it's drying. All right, now we're going to do something a little different because I want to have some grassy looking areas on my art piece down at the bottom, and I want to bring them up into the sky a little. And I'm looking, I have a super long liner brush. Here's option 1, which is a short liner. But I do have a long liner. Here it is. See how long that is? That long liner brush. I want to use that to, I'm looking to see if I had another one. So I can have like just some fronds, okay? Just some grassy fronds. And I'm going to use this same color of green. I'm going to take my brush, get it wet. I'm not going to offload that water. I want all that water still on my brush. And I am going to mix it in and make kind of a watery version of that green right there on the side. All right, and once you have your brush just loaded with paint, you're going to take your brush and just pull it, kind of twist it and turn it and pull it off. And what it's going to do is offload some of that excess and make your brush have kind of a point to it. All right? So now we can make some little fronds. We made us a nice little funny looking thing there. All right? So all I'm going to do is start at the bottom, and I'm just going to pull. And you can start at the top. It doesn't really matter which way you start. And just bring in some grassy area. And I'm barely touching, okay? I'm not putting a lot of pressure on my brush. And I am just barely touching, and I want them all up about halfway up into my canvas. And we're not going to like micromanage it. See how I'm kind of going to the right, and then I'm kind of going to the left, and then you can go straight up. You can go a wiggle. Just very organic. And we're going to just make a bunch, all right? I'm going to go up, up, up. We want to have a really nice grassy area. Up. Just don't do straight up and down. I mean, you can do, obviously, some of it's going to be straight up and down, but give yourself a little curve here and there. Ouch, I bumped. See, that's the danger of the camera the way it is now. My head's too close to it. I've bumped my head on that so much. Let's get a little more water. You want it to be kind of runny. That's the best way to be able to create these little skinny grassy areas. It's just a really fine, kind of a baby line. And we're almost there. I'm just going to keep making it grassy until we like it. Grassy. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. But what I want now is, you can see I kind of sketched out a little something for some flowers, and just kind of like in my head said, okay, this is where I want placement, because I have a couple of different kinds of petals that I want to use. I'm literally not going to use my tracer. I will provide this to members, because anything we do on this page for Art Shattered, our members of the Shattered Circle get any tracers and supply lists that we have for that, right? But I am just going to follow my heart on this, but it's going to come as close to this as I can, and then this is what we'll provide you guys inside the Shattered Circle. All right, so now I know that I want one flower kind of like right here. So I'm going to put my flower. Ooh, I almost spilled that everywhere. So the head of my flower is going to be about right there. Okay, so I know I need a stem. All right, so I'm going to take, that's wet. I'm going to take my little brush. It's loaded, and I've dragged it to a point on my tray. So load it up and then twist and drag so you have a nice point on your brush. And I'm going to give myself just, about right here, a little bit of a fatter stem. And how you get that fatter, when we're doing the little grass, when we're doing the little grassies, you're barely touching the canvas, right? So that you're making these tiny, just like eyelash lines, right? So the tip of your brush is just barely touching the canvas. We want the stem to be thicker. It does, doesn't it? We want that stem to be thicker. So you're going to start at the end of your flower, and you're going to press down a little more, okay? You're not going to just be using like that tip of your brush. You're going to press down a little so it has a little thickness to it. So we want that one there. Now I'm going to do another one just a little farther off, maybe right in here. So I'm going to start about here, and I'm putting a little more pressure on my brush so we have a little bit of a fatter line. Then we're going to just start adding a couple of areas of flowers. I'll move this so you can kind of see where I'm going, if you can see that. Let's see if I can get it all in here. So now I do want one that's going to come across these two, and it's going to be about right here. So I'm just going to draw a line all the way down. And then you can come up too, after we're done, and add some more of those grassy lines. All right, so here, this flower, we're going to do like right here. And I've got one here. I'm going to do almost straight up right here. We got a little baby one here. We're just going to cross it. And then I got a little squirrely one right here. We're going to make it wiggly. So these could go anywhere you plant them, okay? Anywhere you plant them. All right, now what I'm going to do is add a few little leaves, nothing terribly crazy. I'm going to use that same brush, Okay, I'm going to go into my green, and instead of dragging it so it's nice and pointy, I'm going to load it up and keep it loaded. All right, so here on this flower, I'm just going to touch about a 1/2 inch away. I'm going to touch, press down, and pull as I pull up. All right, so we're just adding a little flower. So you're going to touch, press down, and then pull away as you drag it to the stem. All right, so let's do one over here. Let me see what I want to do. I want to press and drag. And you're going to press and drag. And let's do one down here. Just add a few leaves to your stems. Not that one, not that one. Let's add one here. That one's needs a little point. All right, so press and drag. All right, my brush has all that green on it. I'm going to go into that white. I'm going to mix a little white on that green to get a little bit of a lighter color. And I'm just going to hit each of those leaves with a little bit of that white. Go back in, grab a little, just hit it, hit it, hit it. And that gives them a little dimension. All right, hit it. I'm going to come down my stem a little. I need some water on that brush. It was a little dry. And I'm going to come down my stem just in a few spots to give that stem a little bit of a 3D effect too, make it kind of stand out. And we'll rinse. All right, now let me see what I want to did. Now I'm going to dry this because I'm going to show you the little bits and pieces that we're going to use. And I don't want to put them in wet paint. Oh, that's funny, Sheila. You just thought I was being quiet, didn't you? Right. Let's see. I forgot to grab my beads, so give me 1 second. I'm going to use this. All right, so what we're going to use for our petals is some scrap petals that I bought off of Amazon. So I bought this little pack of petals on Amazon, and they're just little pink ovals. All right, so we're going to use a couple of these. And I also have some petals that somebody sent me. One of my members sent me these cute petals. I have no idea where they came from. I know it's because the camera is so close to my face. I don't know what else to do. Let me push that away a little maybe. My head is so close to the camera. It's not even funny. Facebook's messing with my mind. Messing with my mind. All right, so somebody gifted me these. Oh, I went too far, didn't I? So I'm not sure where they came from. I haven't looked for them on the line yet. And so I will try to figure out, if you're in the circle, I will try to figure out, I will ask the person who gave them to me and try to figure out where these came from. But they're so cute. Just little pink. They're beads because they have a little hole in them, but we're going to use these today. And I'll do my due diligence to find out where they came from. We are going to use those. And I also bought these on Amazon, and they are so cute. It comes in a pack of several sizes, and they're just little round. Let me show you close up. All different sizes, little round, to me, flower centers. Okay? Just little tiny round things that we're going to use for the center of our flowers. All right. I also I had 1 pack of yellow petals left over from the Sunflower Challenge. So I am going to use some of these as well, possibly. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to futz around and play, and we can paint some flowers that are going to go on our stems. All right. You could totally do the shrink-eating flowers. You could do anything like that if you wanted to, or you could purchase pre-made flowers. Like in the hobby stores, they have lots of acrylic pre-made flowers. Now, one thing I do want to do is put a bee on my canvas. So y'all have to decide what bee I'm going to use. Now, I do have, well, never mind. We're going to use this bee because I can't use this one. Hang on. I have a bee that someone else gifted me that is made of glass. Now, I don't know if she's still doing those. They came from Etsy, but this is the cutest glass bee ever. And I'm going to ask her if she's still doing those. Super cute. But alternatively, I found this little pack of giblets. They are mini icons in the spring shop at the Hobby Lobby. Love it. So cute. And they have, of course, a bee. So I think I'm going to use this one because this is one that you can all find, I feel certain. Look how stinking cute that is. Is that not cute? Love it. Oops, I just threw it in the ground. But look at this. This has some butterflies, a little birdhouse, a little watering tent, flowers, and birds, and the cutest bee ever. But I think what we'll do is, what do you think? Should we use the glass bee? I can't guarantee that anybody else is going to be able to find that, or the wood bee. So y'all tell me, because if we're going to use the wood bee, I need to paint it. So y'all let me know while I start kind of trying to figure out where we're going to place some flowers. All right. So here I'm going to go ahead and kind of arrange. Anyone would be great. Y'all are funny today, aren't ya? So funny. So on this flower, I know I'm going to do a full flower with the center. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of try to arrange it. So I'm going to put my flower center about 1/4 inch above the end of my stem. And I'm going to grab up some of these glass bee, wood bee. And I'm just going to arrange. I think I'm going to go ahead and glue these down, and we'll just resin over the top. I'm going to arrange. I need a cup to put it in. I'm going to arrange my petals, and because I want to double up on them. Would be. Yeah. So yeah, if I use the wood, y'all would know what it looks like. They have cute. Teresa said they have cute bees in their charm aisle. That would be so cute. All right, so I'm going to use a little bit of glue. Oh, Bentley. Come here, Bentley. Come here. I'm going to use some glue to keep my glass in place while I'm working. This is Aleene's Clear Tacky Glue. It's from Hobby Lobby, super cheap. And any clear, fast-drying glue will work. Somebody's in Paris? Get out. I'm so jelly. So I'm going to use my glue, just the tiniest bit. You don't want to glob it on because we're going to do resin. But I am going to just put the tiniest dot on and start kind of arranging my flower petals. I think I'm just going to put it on there. It's just easier. I'm going to arrange my flower petals. Let's see how many we need. This is already cute. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. Y'all know I'm an oddball. I like odd numbers. And we're going to layer. This is so cute already. I love that center. All right, so let's kind of squish them together a little. And now, in the middle between each of my flowers, I'm going to put one little tiny drop of glue and put another petal on. You can also just go around in a circle. All right, so we're going to add another petal, and we're going to do them in between the petals that we already placed. All right, so that's 2 petals. Let's do that one right in the middle. And I'm having a hard time getting my fingers on the petal. Let's grab a couple. Then we'll do, let's scoot that one over just a wee, and we'll do a petal there. And let's do a petal here. And a petal here. So it becomes very dimensional, all right? Instead of a one-dimensional flower, now it is more two-dimensional. See? Isn't that cute? And I love that little flower center. It is adorable. That is our flower number 1. All right? I'm going to have a sip, and we're going to do another. Let's do another. All right, I'm going to use a little bit of a larger flower center on this one. Bye, girls. I'm going to use a little bit of a larger flower center. Bye. On this one, and I'm going to put a dot of glue. I forgot to glue that one in. About a 1/4 inch above my stem. That's all right. I need to keep my bottle upside down so I won't have to fight it every time. I'm going to put my flower center about right there. Now I'm going to touch the stem. And then I am going to use, I'm going to still use these for this one. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of glue, and we're just going to, it's going to kind of be like a cone flower. I'm going to take a little bit of glue and make a right side parentheses. And we're going to do, touch the point to your center, and let's just kind of fill in. This is going to be cute. We'll get one more, try to squeeze that in. I cannot get my fingers on them for some reason. Squeeze it in. Look at that. That's so cute. But guess what we're going to do? We're going to double up again. Bottom left. I don't think so. Oh, maybe I am right there. You're right. You are absolutely right. Let's get her in there. Thank you for noticing. Just goes to show you. All right, we're going to double up on this side too. Thanks, Shelly. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit of glue close to the bottom. That's going to hold it in place until we resin. And let's add in the middle between each one. Really this time, let's add a second layer. One more. Get it right this time. So cute. Look at that. That is so cute. Let me show you this a little closer. Look at our little flowers. Flower 1, flower 2. Now, won't this be cute? Our little bee buzzing. Our little bee buzzing over here. That's, oh my gosh, that's going to be so cute. All right, let's do, I think for the next one, I'm going to do these little pink petals. And like I said, I have no idea where these come from. I am going to do my due diligence, and I will see if I can find them or something closely related for all you shattered circle folk. So I am going, let's move her back up. I'm going to just dump some, I'm just going to dump them all. We'll dump some of those petals. Look how cute they are, y'all. And they're kind of concave. They're super, super cute. Isn't that cute? So now we have this, which we're going to make a small little flower. We have this, and I'm going to make this and this with some seed beads. So we still have this one and this one. Let's work on this one. All right, I'm going to use a baby flower center again. I actually kind of want, we'll just use one. All right, so, and then I think I'm going to do kind of a cone flower. Let's just kind of set it together and see what we like. These are wiggly. Yeah, I think we're going to do it like this on this one. Let's just do it because it's too wiggly to worry about. So there is my flower center. Just glue it down. Then I'm actually going to put a little dollop on the back of this petal, just tiniest little bit to keep it in place, and make sure your bead hole is facing the center of the flower. All right, get it together. And one more. And here. And I think we're going to leave it just like that. Super simple, cute as all get out. Look how cute that is. Just a little baby flower. Because on this one, I think it's going to overlap here. I think we're going to do that full flower. So let's do a little baby bead again. Just the tiniest bit of glue. When I saw these little beads on the Amazon, these little yellow bits, I thought, OMG, I need all of them. I'm going to make a little ring of glue. We're going to just start adding into that little river of glue I made our little petals. And I'm just going to touch them, and we're going to go all the way around. All the way around. These are so cute. I definitely need to find them for you. One more. Look at that. So cute. And you know what I think I'm going to do is double up here and here with my little beads. Doubling up. Just so they are standing out a little. I want to make sure the right side's up because it's kind of glossy on one side and matte on the other. OMG, y'all. Let me show you close up. Look. It's skippy when it does that, isn't it? That is so cute. Now, let's see. What do we want to do? Okay, this flower, and then we have the two that we're going to use seed beads for. So let's decide. I think over here, I might do this. I'm trying to decide, do we want the big petals or the baby petals? Let's decide. Maybe I think I'm going to do the small because it's needs a little more space, a little less space. So let's do, and maybe we'll do it kind of like a cone flower. Let's just play it by ear. We're just fiddling. All right, let's see. And I'm going to do a few extra. So it's got a little more to it. And we're going to double up that bead too. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me scooch it back around. So this one has 4. kind of like it just like that without piling up. That is so cute, y'all. So we have 3 flowers made with the smaller petals and then 2 with the last petals. And guys, I wanted to tell you real quick too that when we do these demos every week on this page, on the Art Shattered page, and we reserve any supply lists and or tracers for our members, okay? That is a membership perk. So if you are not a member, that's one more reason to become a member, because that is a benny of being a member is everything we do on this page, you're going to get a link for inside the membership. All right, so keep that in mind. And we reserve that only for our members. All right, so now I am going to put some of these pink seed beads. They came from Hobby Lobby. We're going to put those like in random spots, kind of like I have on my tracer here, just a little pile all the way down. We're going to add those to our stems, but we're going to do that while the resin is on there. So for now, or when we get the resin on there. So for now, let's paint our bee really quick. All right, I'm going to get some tape. I'll show you how to paint something that's teeny tiny and hard to move around, right? I mean, it's hard to paint because it wants to be wiggly. So I am going to take a little bit of tape and sticky side up, just kind of turn it and do a little bit sticky side up tape. Stick it down, and now you can paint it without worrying about it moving all over the place, right? So we have black, yellow, and white. So I need some yellow, some bumblebee yellow. And let's use this. This is a bright yellow. And let's paint our cute little our cute little bumblebee. And then we'll do our resin. Yellow, tiny dot of black. Well, the black doesn't want to come out. Well, there we go. That's plenty. And then we already have some white. So I'm going to use a small round brush. Actually, I'm going to use a little flat brush. It'll be easier. Just a little flat brush just to paint the little bits on the bee. All right, I'm going to start with the wings because they're going to be white. So I'm just going to get a little white on my brush, and let's paint those wings. This is so cute. All right, let's paint this side. Probably going to need another coat, but let's wipe that off. Let's rinse it. And I think I'm going to paint the entire bee. I'm going to do white on his antenna, just that little tiny bit. And then we're going to do black. Are we back? What in the world? We back? Thumbs up if we're back. Okay. Well, I don't have any idea. Are we back? Are we froze or are we back? If you're frozen, go out and come back in. I'm getting some thumbs up saying we're back, but I don't know because I'm getting frozen, back, frozen, back, frozen, back. No, not again. All right, I don't know what to do because I'm still getting people saying frozen. All right, I'm just going to keep going. I got a lot of here's, a lot of here's, a lot of here's. I have no idea what that is. I can tell you that it has been storming here, and right now the sky is as black as night because we are getting some severe thunderstorms, and looks like nighttime almost out there, so that might have something to do with it. So I'm going to paint the little antenna. And then we're going to paint his little honey. Let's get his honey. And I'm going to very lightly try to hit. Hopefully I can do this without getting... It's hard because I'm too far away from the bee so that you guys can be in the camera. And I don't want my head in the video. So let me see if I can get this bee. Getting painted. We have done so well in the last few months with the internet. I got like a really good internet because we had a problem when we first moved here, but I ended up getting a really good service package. We weren't having any problems. And then suddenly, well, yesterday during our challenge, the fiance unplugged the internet. That was not, that wasn't an internet problem. That was a fiance problem, right? That was not an internet. All right, I'm going to rinse that. I'm going to do a little more yellow, and I think we're going to be good. We're going to do a little bit of sketching on that bee with a pen and give him some nice wings. We may put some seed beads on his wings too. All right, so I'm going to hit his little yellow bits again. That black is still wet. I need to give it a minute. All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to move my bee over, and we're going to start mixing our resins. Yeah, he felt so bad, y'all. He was like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. I was like, it's okay. It's all right. I'm not gonna end you yet. Bless his heart. All right, I'm going to put the bee over there for now. And let's go ahead and mix up our resin. So we have the little pink flowers, 2 different kinds, and they're yellow centers that I'm going to be on the hunt for. And for right now, we're going to mix up a little resin. So I am going to mix up an ounce of resin. I feel very sure that it's not going to take that much. So I will let you know how much it took. But I'd rather be safe than sorry right now. So we're going to go for it. Maybe we aren't. Let me see. Yeah. Here's 2 cups. So I'm going to mix a half an ounce and a half an ounce. I'm actually going to take my marker. Actually, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my marker. This is a archive quality pen. And I'm going to give my leaves and my grass a little extra work. All right, so I'm just going to take my little pen and my stem and give it a little outline. Should have done that before I put my flowers on, but that's okay. So we're just going to make a little line. Come down, go around your leaves, and I'll show you the difference this makes. Just kind of makes them stand out a little more. So this is going to be my seed bead flower. Let's go around this one. So you can see that just those little bits of pen marks kind of helps make those pop. All right, let me see, get it centered right. So now I'm going to take my cups. Now I'm going to let's make some grass too. Just for fun. We are going to add a little glass down there, but let's give it a little something. Now I'm going to take my cup at 1/2 ounce and make a mark, because it's really hard for this old lady to see that measurement when we start pouring the resin. I do the outlines because it just gives it more dimension. That's 100% optional. You don't have to do that. I would encourage you to try it once, because it does make a huge difference in the dimension of your art piece. All right, I'm going to do a little piece there. I just like it. Basically, that's the reason. Okay, so I'm going to get my gloves on, and we are going to mix up some resin. And we do the seed beads after resin because they are wiggly and bouncy. And if you put them on before, they're just going to bounce and move all over the place. So we're going to do our resin, and then we're going to put the seed beads where we want them, and they will stay in lieu of them being all over. They should, Angela. They should, for sure. All right, so we have 2 cups, one for resin, one for hardener, and we are using art resin. I use this exclusively. Thank you, Catherine. I use art resin exclusively for many reasons. It is one of the highest rated non-yellowing resins on the market. It is made in the USA, and it is no VOC, no BPA, and food safe, okay? So, and it is made specifically for art. It is non-toxic, no fumes. It is a 1-to-1 ratio, which means 50% resin, 50% hardener in cups, mixed for 3 minutes together. That is not to say that you won't have a reaction. Some people are super sensitive to any type of chemical mix. So you should do your due diligence. We're all grown. You should do your due diligence, follow all the manufacturer instructions and precautions, and make sure that you're taking care of you. All right? Oh, let's see. I'm going to do 1/2 ounce of hardener. I have mine in squeezy bottles because it's just easier for me, and they're labeled. This is hardener. Oh, that one, it kind of does on the screen, doesn't it? Now I'm going to do resin in the other cup, 1/2 ounce. And we're going to put them in a separate cup to mix because the girls did not stock my 2-ounce cups on my back shelf. It's my fault. I didn't tell them I was out. So I'm going to pour both cups into a larger cup because you do have to have space in your cup for mixing. Now, if I'd have had a 2-ounce cup, I could have just done it in there. But that's all right. It's all good. Now, these cups are reusable. If you want to reuse them, just take a paper towel, wipe it out, and then use it again next time, all right? Just make sure you get it all out. We'll put the hardener and the resin together in 1 cup. Scrape it off. Make sure you get it all. You don't want it to be lopsided. And we're going to stir, all right? Before you add resin, you could do a little dotty, curly behind the bee. That is a great idea. Let me mix first because I don't want it just to sit here. So you can go ahead and start timing me. We'll mix for 3 minutes. We're going to stir our resin. You're not going to beat it to death. We're not making egg whites. We're going to gently stir, scrape the sides of your cup, scrape across the bottom scrape your stick off because you want all this thoroughly mixed together. All right, so we're going to do this for 3 minutes. And while I'm mixing, if anybody has a question about the shattered circle, if anybody has a question about resin, any question at all, I'm happy to answer if I am at all able to. I'm happy to answer any questions while I'm mixed for 3 minutes. So I'm going to pull this down so you can see it. So just holla if you have a question. I would love to answer it. So one of the things, until I get a question, I can tell you about is some of what we offer inside the Shattered Circle. And one of the things I want to start with is this in particular. Okay. We go live on this page. We try to go live every Wednesday. Sometimes we don't, for one reason or the other. Cheryl, we have a formula for pricing inside our membership page, but for this particular art piece, if I was going to sell it in a store, I would probably sell it. This is an 8x8. I'd probably sell this for probably between $35 and $42, something like that. I hate like $30. $40. I try to have it an oddball number. I don't know why. I'm just crazy that way. But somewhere in that range. One of the things we offer is every time we go live on this public facing page, we offer our whatever supplies we use and tracers that we use. Those are member exclusive. We do like to tell you, like I said, I got these from Amazon. I got this from there. This is my paint color, but we do not offer like a written supply sheet or tracer to non-members. That is a member exclusive. All right. We also do have a YouTube page. So if you want to go and see some of our things that we've done on Wednesdays, you can follow us, Art Shattered, on YouTube. That would be fantastical. All right. What kind of ink is in your pen? It is an archive quality. This one is a micron, Becky. You can get this on Amazon. It's called Pigma Micron. It's an archive quality illustration marker. Okay. Illustration marker is what you're looking for. I use the 0.5 or 0.05 for my line work, but check on Amazon. Just do an Amazon search for graphic illustration marker and make sure it's archive quality. That's all. Okay. The membership is $47. I saw that pop up. I don't remember who it was or if it might have been Catherine. The membership is $47 a month. And let me tell you what you're going to get. Thank you, Catherine. I see your time. I'm going to grab my B. I'm going to put a little more paint on him real quick. I can't dilly-dally too much or my resin's going to get icky. Let me grab a little bit of yellow. Get a little more on my B. Because I'd gotten some black in there. I wanted to fix it. All right. We'll let that dry real quick, and then we'll do a little buzzy. I think I'm going to put my B. Oh, I'll need to do one more thing. I'm going to make a few little, with my pen. Can you see the bee? Can y'all see him? Let me move him up a little. All right, so I am going to come right on the inside and just make a few little lines for the wings, and then you can do the little like fractals or whatever that are in the wings. I'm not doing a very good job, but I don't mind. It'll be fine. All right, so up here, I think I'm going to put him-ish. Hang on. This tape wants to stick to my gloves. Let's put him. Yes, Jackie, you can. I'm going to put him. here maybe, and we'll do, that's not going to be very much of a little buzzy. We'll do a little booty buzz. All right, so I'm going to move that off for now. And our resin, let's give it one more little swirl. And I'm going to start with my resin. I'm actually going to grab a little bit of green glass and put it, just a smidge of the resin along the bottom, right? And just to give us a little base. I'm not going to use much, just a little, just enough for a little bit of a base. Something for the flowers to be coming from. Oops. All right, so we're going to start there and add a little resin to that. I want to make sure you can see. We'll play catch up. And drizzle over our glass. Now, let me tell you why we drizzle. You need the resin to cover all of your glass and glue it to the canvas. If I just dump this onto my canvas right now, it wouldn't go over the top, right? So we drizzle because it hits the top of the glass. And this is one of the things, remember when I was telling you earlier how I had to learn things on my own because nobody really wanted to give me advice or share with me or let me know things that I would need to know. This is one of the things I had to learn the hard way. You drizzle and you hit those glass nuggets. The resin is self-leveling. So what happens is the resin runs down the sides of those nuggets all the way to the canvas, and then it levels itself on the canvas. That allows the glass to be fully stuck down onto your canvas and covered with a nice layer, okay? So you want it on the top, the sides, and the bottom. That is why we drizzle. Be super easy if we just pour it on and move it around, but it's not, that it doesn't quite work that way. It does not. If we weren't doing glass, we could do that because, you know, you could just pour it on and smear it around. But with the glass or any like giblets, Gina, I see you. You need to have, you need to be doing that drizzling. All right. I am going to go over as soon as we're done here. It's really hard for me to like resin and talk, like concentrate and like be thorough. So I am going to go over the benefits of joining as soon as I'm done, because obviously I can barely resin silently sometimes when I've got my brain is not working appropriately. So let me get this covered and then I will give you all the answers for that you're asking about for the membership, because we'd love for you to join us. The people inside the membership are the best, the very best. I've made so many new friends. I'm going to get this flower. I'm going to just drizzle it over the top. And then I'm going to kind of smear it to make sure it's all covered. Don't be too aggressive in case your glue's not quite dry. I'm going to go around, make sure that's all covered. All right, I'm going to hit this little cutie. I honestly cannot believe we are 7 years old. I'm going to tell you this too. You know, I told you earlier when we were talking about why I started the group, with so many people were asking me how to do. And, you know, I told you I was going through a fairly nasty divorce. And that's one of the things that, and I don't say this for pity because I don't need it, because things have turned out really well for me. But that's one of the things that he was so ugly about, is he just said, this is dumb. You're not going to be able to make anything of this. And I was like, you are wrong. And I showed him, didn't I? Anywho, I'm going to drizzle the rest of this just in the flat area real quick. I'm going to save a little for my bee. I really want, I'm going to put a little on the bottom, and I'm going to put a little on the top. Let's get him placed. Make sure his honey is connected to his little buzz line. Now, I'm just going to use my hand and kind of go in between the flowers to spread that resin. I have a smidge of resin left in my cup in case I need a little extra. And if we don't need a little extra, we'll use it on top of our seed beads. So I like to pull my resin all the way to the edge. I do not resin the sides. That is a personal preference. If you don't want to get resin on the sides of your canvas, you can tape the edges so that the resin doesn't drip over. I don't even do that. I've become, after all these years, I've gotten really good at not getting so much resin that it drips over the sides. Sometimes I do, but most of the time I don't. But you can tape the sides or the back to prevent drips. All right, so, oops, that one wasn't glued good. All right, so now what we're going to do, I am going to wipe off my fingers real quick. Alice, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever drizzle stick you're comfortable with is what you should use. I just used that little one because it was handy. It was just there, and so that it was easy for me to use. All right, my pink seed beads are brand new, I think. So let me see. Oh, maybe not. Let me see. These came from Hobby Lobby. They're pink, size 6. And I'm going to put some of these in a smaller cup. Just put it in here. And I'll set that over there in case I don't want to have to spill it. I may put some clear seed beads on his wings too. Do you see how the camera starts to try to focus on my arm? That's driving me crazy. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my seed beads and I'm just going to tap out like 6 or 8, just a little pile. And I can use my stir stick to kind of get them where I want them. All right, I'm going to use that little pile. And I'm going to come down. They're plastic, they're acrylic. We're going to do another little pile. Smush them together. Make it irregular. You don't want it to be like a circle or something. Oh, these petals are acrylic. These are glass seed beads. So it depends on what you're asking. And down here close to the bottom, I'm just going to do maybe 3 or 4 little babies. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. At the top, my fingers are still sticky. I'm going to add, whoa, too many. We only provide links for our members. So if you're a member of the Shattered Circle, or if you decide to join us inside the Shattered Circle, you will be provided a link to all the supplies that we use. But that is reserved. That's too many. We reserve that for our members. So let's bring that down a little. We're going to add a couple more, maybe 1 or 2. Then we'll do a little bit here. And I'm going to move 3 down. And So it's just kind of like a little random little flower. Look how cute that is. That is so darling. Okay, so I have a little tiny bit of that resin left. So I'm going to take a little on my stick and just drizzle it over those seed beads. Now this is not 100% necessary because they are stuck in the wet resin. But if you have resin left over, sure doesn't hurt to just top them off, okay? Then we're going to use our heat gun and pop any little bubbles that we might have. I'm going to look over, make sure I don't see any skippies. What? Who wants to do seed beads on the wings? I think we need them. I think we need them. We're going to use crystal luster seed beads and put a few of these clear seed beads, crystal luster, on the wings. All right, so let's get those in a cup. Here's what we'll do. I'm going to set that there. Get my pink again. Isn't that pretty in pink? That's what we'll name it. Pretty in pink, like the movie. All right, let's get some of these crystal lusters. Oh, actually, these are a size 8. I want the 12s, which are smaller. Let's find them. Of course, we have them, and they're not open. That's all right. We can open them. These are a smaller bead. They are size 12, which is the smallest. And I think we need the small ones for the wings. So let's get this booger open. Jane, that's hilarious. You know what? I used to be about that sort of thing, but no longer. No longer. I reserve my OCD for other things. I think sometimes we feel like our art has to be perfect, and that's another thing that I try to stress inside this group. You know, that is not wanting your art to be perfect, the resin to be perfect, and every placement of everything to be perfect does not create a stress-free learning environment. So I like to stress. I'm going to just tap some of these beads right on top of the wings, and then we'll use a little bead awl to micromanage them. Let's go down to the other side. I just feel like when I was trying for everything to be perfect, it didn't create a stress-free art experience. So I've learned to let that go. I'm going to use this bead awl to kind of push my beads around because I did get some misplaced, but that's okay. You could just use your bead awl. Lord, I don't know what just happened. I think I got a little too many. I'm going to knock some of those off. That was piled up a little too high. And just wiggle around any of those beads. Oh, I almost spilled, didn't I? But yeah, I mean, the minute I let go of that perfect, everything has to be perfect, it was just better. It's just better. You know? Ugh. Somebody's alarm is going off. I'm just going to move these off. But trust me, I understand 1,000% that desire. But I also like to stress for people to do it their way and do your own thing. I'm going to use a little bit of resin back over the top of these. And then we're going to pop some bubbles. I like that better. They're kind of sparkly. I'll show you those close up now. They're kind of sparkly and cute. Look at our little wings. We'll let the camera focus. Cute little wings. Now what we're going to do, let me put that over there before I make a mess. What I want to do is use my heat gun. I'm going to take my gloves off because they are a little sticky. And I'm going to use my heat gun to pop any bubbles that may have formed while we were mixing resin, all right? When I start making all this cool stuff and it's not good enough to see, but I don't have room for it all, give it to your friends. I gift almost all my art now. I rarely sell anything. I do gift it a lot because I make art almost every day, and I'm not really selling my art anymore. I try to save room in that space for my members. And so I don't want to be putting my art out there for sale when they're trying to sell theirs. So I save that space for them. But you can gift it. Trust me, when you start making all this stuff, all your friends are going to want you to do that. Yeah. And you can do fundraisers, gift it to fundraisers. I don't know which ones you're talking about. These pink ones came from Amazon. They're just mosaic glass. The centers came from Amazon. These petals here were gifted to me. No idea where they came from. And these are seed beads. The little pink rounds are seed beads. Okay? So look at that. What do you guys think? Pretty in pink. That is so cute. I love it. What do you think? You love it? Like it? Hate it?